first off, people are the fundamental core of the Army. I mean, it really is. It boils down to your people and the quality of your leadership and their ability to figure things out over time for, as you said, unknown, uncertain conditions. You can't predict the future, so you have to have people who can think and lead and figure it out and make stuff happen in whatever hand that they're dealt. When you look at that capability, you look at those types of requirements, you can walk back to, okay, then what kind of people do we need? And so then what type of people do we want to bring into the Army, or assess? How do you want to develop them over time and in space in an uncertain future? How are you going to keep the good people that you've brought in, that you've developed? How do you keep them? And then how do you employ them to match their skills, talents, desires against the real requirements? And essentially that is the holistic kind of cradle to grave strategy that has been laid out. I think that the idea that every Army officer, or even in my case, every engineer is going to be a pentathlete like all their other teammates is not, it's not the way we want to go. It's not, first off, it's not practical. Second, it's not going to give you the individual skills that when combined are going to give you that pentathlete-like effect for the Army as a whole. What we need to have is be able to clearly identify who do we have, what are their skills, what are their capabilities, what are their desires, and then effectively match to the job that we need. So for example, if we have a project in Iraq to reconstruct the Mosul Dam, we definitely want an officer in charge of that project who is very well grounded, that has a strong background in civil engineering or hydrological engineering, who probably maybe has a professional engineer license, who has experience and competency in how to reconstruct a dam. But our current system right now, it doesn't lend itself to easily figuring out, okay, here's the requirement that, okay, we're going to rebuild a dam. Who's our talent pool? Who knows what? The real story is that if you go back to the Vietnam War, the Army Engineer Force was a full spectrum force. It could do everything from fight at the tip of the spear to build huge infrastructure inside of Vietnam, as well as part of counterinsurgency doctrine. We could go into villages and work with locals and build schools, bridges, water systems, clinics, and so forth, which was a key part of counterinsurgency doctrine. What happened is that after Vietnam, we shifted to mainly a focus on conventional warfighting, away from counterinsurgency doctrine, focused on the defense of Europe, which is a highly advanced economy with an infrastructure. So as we designed our forces in the post-Vietnam era, there were some big assumptions that significant infrastructure could be built by the host nation contract capability. I'll give you some examples. You have, especially in the surge part of the campaign, where you had engineer platoon leaders, young lieutenants, who their infantry battalion or brigade commander said, okay, Lieutenant, we're going to move into this section of the neighborhood and take a look at that bombed out building right there. I want you to turn this into a headquarters and a combat outpost or a forward operating base. And I need you to build force protection for me. I need water, clean water. I need you to make sure we can take care of human waste in a sanitary way so that people don't get sick. I need some power generation, and I need this all to work. And I need showers and hot water and everything. For a lieutenant who has no background or skill or experience or education in how to do this, that is an overwhelming task. So what you found is that people either weren't building the stuff fast enough or not to standard. And that could have a negative effect on the ability of the maneuver force to achieve effects. Same thing if they're down doing counterinsurgency and you're working with local tribesmen or village elders and they want you to put in a school or a health clinic and again, electricity and so forth. And if the lieutenant or the captain doesn't have the requisite skill and the building is not built properly or it falls apart or the water doesn't work right or it's not built properly, the electricity doesn't work, or if people get electrocuted, which I'll come to in a minute, that harms the credibility and the effect in what we're trying to achieve. If those people whom we're trying to help say, gee whiz, I can't count on the Americans. When you walk the dog back from all of that, what it is we're trying to do as an Army, as an officer corps, then you say, okay, well, what kind of people should we bring in? And I think this idea of talent is right on the money, because if you have the choice between bringing in people who are smarter or less smart, what do you want? You want the smarter people. And there's ways to identify that through test scores, where they went to school, et cetera. Given the nature of the military, what do you want? People who are more physical and athletic and have endurance and can do hard physical things? You want more or less? I mean, obviously you want more. Do you want people who have, good character and selflessness and values, or less? So I think this idea of the Army going out and identifying where is the talent with the types of, behaviors, skills, education, background, and so forth, that we know lead to the outcomes we're looking for in our officer corps, that's what we should be doing.